Hey, it's me being Tony Scott. Welcome to the Tony Scott Internet Show. Got a Friday working here. How are you? You got plans for the weekend? I hope so, and I hope everything works out for you, because weekends are important for those who are off on weekends. It's when you kind of power down a little bit and do some things that you had to put off all week. Spend time with the kids. A lot of us run kids around the entire weekend, so I get that. Yesterday was my day to do that. I had to take Olivia to the eye doctor. Then I had to pick up Maria from school. My wife was unavailable. I think she was with her boyfriend or something. I don't know. I'm kidding. Come on, man. I'm just kidding, man. Oh, boy. All right. So anyway, Cardinals tonight or late this afternoon. I think it's like a 5:30 game or something out in Los Angeles. It'll be on Fox Sports 1. And then tomorrow they will be on the MLB Network, if I'm not mistaken. So go Cardinals as they play the first two games of their playoff series in Los Angeles, or as they say, Chavez Ravine is where the Dodger Stadium is located. And go Cardinals, man. I think the Rams this weekend are going to play the Eagles. Austin Davis has been named the starting quarterback. Austin Davis was like the third-string quarterback in preseason. And then Sam Bradford went down with that knee thing again for the season. And I can't remember who the backup quarterback was, but he kind of got a little hurt, and he's okay now. But he's going to be the backup, and Austin Davis is going to be the man. He's going to be the man. What? Well, all right then. So I guess yesterday news got out that the Michael Brown grand jury was being investigated for some improprieties that involve a tweet that went out from a woman named Susan Nichols, allegedly. And she allegedly said, "I know someone sitting on the grand jury of this case. There isn't enough at this point to warrant an arrest of Darren Wilson." And it was like, who tweeted that from the grand jury? Who did that? So they have to investigate it, where it came from, things like that. And the woman's now saying, "I didn't send that. I got hacked. I got hacked." You get hacked. You didn't get, oh man, you didn't get hacked. It was probably sent from Josie. Remember Josie? It's a mess. It's just misconduct from, and understand, this woman who says she got hacked, she's not on the grand jury. She says she knows somebody who's on the grand jury, and they told her there's not enough at this point to warrant an arrest, or I guess in legal terms, I guess it would be an indictment. But now she's saying she got hacked. She took it down like seconds after it went up. Her tweet, her friends told her, take it down. And she did, but, once you put something up, it's up there forever, man. I don't care what anybody says. It's there forever. And shame on you. Shame on you. First of all, I don't think anybody's going to believe you were hacked. I don't think anybody's going to believe that. You were trying to start some mess. You were trying to be noticed. You wanted your 15 minutes. Well, congratulations. There you go. Everybody knows who you are. Everybody's seen the tweet. I've got it up on the talking360.com website, I believe, under the news tabs. You might want to check that out for yourself if by chance you have not seen it. And we now know who Darren Wilson's attorney is. James Towey Jr., Towey, says he's representing Darren Wilson. He's general counsel for the Missouri Fraternal Order of Police and a former general counsel for the St. Louis Police Officers Association. He will not say where Darren Wilson is, and who would expect him to, actually, but now we know who his lawyer is. What else? There's actually a lawsuit, accusations of police brutality and some false arrests and stuff. A federal civil rights lawsuit that actually was amended yesterday. 10 plaintiffs are part of the lawsuit. They say they were arrested for no reason between August 11th and 13th by St. Louis County Police and Ferguson Police. Some of them say they got injured by projectiles that struck them. The lawsuit names County Police Chief John Belmer, Ferguson Police Chief Tom Jackson, Ferguson Police Officer Justin Cosma, and other unnamed police officers from both departments, both the city of Ferguson and St. Louis County, as defendants. $60 million lawsuit. Dwayne Matthews I was watching on Fox 2. He was saying that he came to Ferguson on a bus to check on his mother, and he was walking down West Florissant. He saw 8 police at Highmont, and he put his hands in the air, but he was shot in the elbow, abdomen, and legs with what he thought were rubber bullets. He fell into like a creek or some sewer around there, and they put his face in the water, and he was told he was arrested for failing to disperse. So he's not happy about that. But Chief Jackson and Chief Belmer says their officers don't carry rubber bullets. But Dwayne Matthews says, well, something hit me, damn it. And he wants consequences and ramifications. So we'll have to see how that whole thing pans out. In court, I guess, is where we're going to have to go. So what else is going on? We've got the Ebola situation is... we're getting a little bit of information out. Well, first of all, the apartment where the man, Thomas Duncan, was living, or at the time, there's an issue there because they can't find a contractor who's willing to go into the apartment and clean it and take out the bedding and clothes. They have hired someone who's going to do the work soon, but as of right now, people are like, I ain't going in there, man. And you know, I mean, would you go in there? You know, as scary as those 5 letters are, Ebola, E-B-O-L-A, and nobody want to mess with that stuff, man. You know, nobody wants to mess with that. So that's kind of like where that is. They say as many as 100 people could have come in contact with Thomas E. Duncan. When he was first taken to the emergency room at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital, he was examined. I told you this yesterday. Sent home with antibiotics. They didn't suspect Ebola. A nurse learned that Mr. Duncan had traveled from Liberia. That's one of 3 countries in Africa where the Ebola virus has apparently run rampant. But that information was not communicated to the rest of the medical team, according to the hospital. So the hospital dropped the ball there. So that's kind of like where we are there with that. It's just, you know, the man, Mr. Duncan, apparently, like, he threw up before he got in the ambulance or something, and you know, people, it's got people shook up, especially like in the Dallas area. You know, people are shook up, but you know, because these 100 people who may have had contact with Mr. Duncan, okay, well, who would they have contact with, and who did they have contact with? And who did they have you know, so a lot of people are concerned about that, and I totally understand that, man. You know, we're frightened of what we don't know, especially when it comes to things like this. You know, I can completely understand it. Is it warranted? I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't know. The woman who Mr. Duncan was living with, she says that Thomas Duncan had been sweating profusely and suffering from diarrhea. He vomited in the apartment complex parking lot. The woman has showed no Ebola symptoms. You know, but nobody had gone to that apartment for a few days after it was determined that he did have Ebola to inspect what's going on there and to sanitize it and things like that. So that's a problem. I think we as I shouldn't say we, but I think people close to the situation working for the hospital or the CDC, so I think a lot of balls have been dropped in a lot of areas, and it's not a criticism. It's just we need to pick up the pace as far as doing things the right way. The protocols need to be re-examined, I think, and that kind of deal. So, but you know, it is what it is. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if you heard about Blackish. I tell you about that. Steve Harvey's catching some heat. Did you hear about that? I've got a lot of entertainment news to tell you about. I'll do that after this on the Tony Scott Internet Show.
Do you want to reach an audience that you haven't tapped into yet and not blow your budget? The Tony Scott Internet Show is new, growing, and available to you. Advertising on the Tony Scott Internet Show is extremely affordable. Contact us at advertise@TonyScottShow.com.
Yes, it is the Tony Scott Internet Show Friday edition, and I wanted to mention, and I didn't in the first segment, but apparently voter registration is up big time in Ferguson since the murder of Michael Brown. In fact, St. Louis County, since Michael Brown's murder, have registered 4,839 people, and of those 4,839 people, 3,287 of them are from Ferguson. That's incredible. That is great. Let's keep that going. You want to affect change, it's time to shock the world. It really is. Although I've said for a while now, we need to start having meetings on how to recall some of these politicians. Don't wait for the next election. They just had one. It's time to figure out how to get these folks recalled. And let's get them off the books, man. That's what I'm saying. So, all right, let's talk about Blackish. Apparently lost 24% of its audience from week 1 to week 2. They had an audience of almost 11 million for the premiere. And Wednesday night's episode was a little over 6.5 million. Don't know what happened. Octavia Spencer's Fox series, The Red Band Society, only had like 3.3 million viewers. But they say the audience did increase in the second half hour. I didn't even know about that show. Did you know about that? The Red Band Society? I didn't. I just, I don't watch like a lot of television. But I didn't know anything about that. But I'm Blackish. I'm kind of concerned about that. Donald Trump has a problem with a series called Blackish. But of course it's time for the Celebrity Apprentice to come back on. So he's rearing his bald, ugly head. I shouldn't say bald. I don't know. It looks like he wears a toupee, but he swears up and down that it ain't. And I'm not with him when he gets dressed in the morning or undressed at night. So I don't know. If he says that's his hair, then whatever. That's his hair. If that's what his mouth say, that's good enough for him. Is good enough for me. What about this woman who was arrested in Miami, and they're saying that's Big Pun's mother for bank robbery? Did you hear about this story? According to CBS in Miami, a woman named Gail Simpson was arrested this past Tuesday after trying to rob a Wells Fargo bank in Florida. She was already on probation for an attempted robbery earlier this year. So she's probably going to be doing some time. Allegedly walked into the bank about 3:30, demanded money from the bank employee. She got away with an undisclosed amount of cash. Customers were in the bank. Nobody was injured. But according to, Nicole Bitchie? She's quoting another source saying that Gail Simpson is the alias of Big Pun's mother, Gail Tirado. Apparently, she was allegedly distraught over the family's efforts to get some royalties and revenues owed to the estate of Big Pun when the robbery occurred. They're alleging that those monies were stolen by Fat Joe and Jellybean Benitez. Now, you remember, it was, 5 years ago that Big Pun's wife filed a lawsuit saying the family had been forced to live in a homeless shelter after exhausting all their finances. She's basically accused Fat Joe of not giving her monies that Big Pun earned after he died. But Fat Joe, it's like Fat Joe, Big Pun, Fat Pun, Big Joe. I don't know. Fat Joe put out a statement and says, I gave Liza Rios, that's Big Pun's widow, the whole advance of the Endangered Species album. No one but Liza made $1 off that album. Also gave her the total advance from the publishing company that was due to Big Pun. Big Joe says, Fat Joe says, I've never made $1 off Big Pun since he passed. Hundreds of thousands of frivolous spending. After the second payoff, I washed my hands of the whole thing. 6 lawyers, harassment on radio stations, online mediums. Every time she needs money, I have legal documents stating that no one is making money off of Big Pun. I sympathize with Liza, Fat Joe says, but I've already done enough for her. So I don't know, but Big Pun's mom allegedly tried to rob a bank. I got pictures of it on the Talking 360 site under Streets of Talking. You can check that out, because that's, wow. Big Pun's mother is trying to rob banks. That's not good. Goodness. What else is going on here? Steve Harvey is catching hell. Apparently Steve Harvey is a friend, I'll say that, and he's invited Paula Deen to mentor young black men at his mentoring camp. And a lot of people are looking at him kind of sideways, saying, how could you do something like that? And I'm not speaking for Steve Harvey because he doesn't need anybody to speak for him. But I guess he's looking past the allegations of Paula Deen and the N-word and things like that. And I'm sure they've had a conversation that just didn't come out of the blue. They've probably been talking for a while. And he probably figures that her message her positive message to mentor these young African American males is probably more of an asset than her liability, because you can say what you want about Steve Harvey, but Steve Harvey doesn't make mistakes. He just doesn't. Seems like everything he touches turns to gold, and I'm so happy for him for that. But that's a lot of people are kind of upset though for him inviting Paula Deen to mentor at his upcoming seminar that he does, that weekend thing that he does, his mentoring camp. He actually had Paula Deen on his talk show recently, but a lot of people are not happy with Broderick Stephen Harvey. So there you go. Let's see. Who's that? The guy, was that Tank? Was that Tank that got arrested in L.A.? Did you hear about that? Tank was up. He got arrested by L.A. because he was driving while he was talking on the phone. Apparently in L.A. you can't do that. He was on Van Nuys, in Van Nuys. Cops saw him at the wheel on the phone, and I guess you can't do that out there. Cops asked to see his driver's license, and he would not comply. That's when they arrested him. Well, you know. It's your right not to cooperate with police, but then they have to do what they have to do. You can't be mad. You can't be mad about that, can you? I mean, really? It is what it is. You know, what was interesting that I saw was, I don't know if you watch, what's the name of that show that Ray J's on? Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, which is just a god-awful reality show. It's just, there are so many beautiful women on that show, but all of them come off as ugly because of their ways, you know. And Ray J, his ex-girlfriend, is her name Tiara Marie? Is that her name? They've been going at it in the last few episodes, and I don't know what he did. I mean, he's got another girlfriend, Princess Love. I don't know, but apparently Brandy had a sit down with her little brother, and she told him, you know, sometimes I find it hard to believe that we have the same mom and dad. Did you hear about that? I gotta let you hear this.
I sometimes I can't believe we have the same mom and dad. It's unbelievable.
So what you felt like I did was childish?
Absolutely. You had no business going there to begin with. That was stupid.
You know what it was? It was tit for tat.
That's what's whack, is that it's tit for tat over somebody you're not even with. You put yourself in situations that you don't have to be in.
You know, Brandy is the voice of reason here, right? Now, from what I gathered, okay, he invited her. He has a girlfriend, Princess Love. I don't know who the hell that is. But anyway, he's got a girlfriend. He had a party. So he invites his ex-girlfriend who, based on what we just heard, Tiara Marie is a hothead. She's always going off and stuff like that. And she went to the party raising hell, and they had to put her out. And she says she wants some bag back. So then she's having a tattoo removal party because she's got Ray J's name tattooed underneath her boob. And so he decides that he's going to take a box of stuff and just dump it there at this tattoo removal party. And then she punches him. And so Brandy basically is telling a grown-ass man, her little brother, but still a grown-ass man, what's wrong with you, man? What's wrong? What's wrong with you, dude? You can't go around doing stuff like that. You're a grown man. Why do you put yourself in this situation? Bravo to Brandy for being the voice of reason. By the way, thanks to Love and Hip Hop Hollywood and VH1 for the audio. But that, you just get, what? No. No, you can't do that. Ray J, come on, man. Come on, dude. What are you, in the 8th grade? You wanted revenge? Man. I don't know, man. That's stupid. Gabrielle Union is responding to people. She tweeted a picture of her and D Wade on, this was date night. They were going to eat. And she put on a baggy dress because she said she was going to pig out. And so she posted a picture on Instagram, and people say she looks pregnant in the picture because it's a baggy picture. I mean, a baggy dress. And so she gets kind of insulted by that. she says in her post, she goes, I wore a big dress so I could eat. No baby bump. Reading is fundamental, kids. Am I the only one that dresses so I can pig out, or does everyone just unbutton their pants after dinner like Big Mama? LMAO, y'all are funny. You know, some people like to take things and just run with it, man. And I don't know. It's just funny to me how people are. But what are you gonna do? What do you want from me? What are you gonna do? Jordan Sparks was asked about Jason Derulo's claim that she was trying to shove marriage on him, and that's why they broke up. What she says about that, I'll let you hear it coming up next on the Tony Scott Internet Show.
Do you want to reach an audience that you haven't tapped into yet and not blow your budget? The Tony Scott Internet Show is new, growing, and available to you. Advertising on the Tony Scott Internet Show is extremely affordable. Contact us at advertise@TonyScottShow.com.
Back on the Tony Scott Internet Show for a Friday. Hope the weekend is off the hook for you. Jordan Sparks, you know, TMZ, they've got people everywhere. Not necessarily professional reporters, because some of them are just kind of ridiculous. But I guess that's, you know, I'm from the old school where reporters, you know, they had skills and stuff like that. And then, you know, these new guys, they're looking for sound bites. They're not really necessarily looking for like an interview, but TMZ apparently caught up with Jordan Sparks. And asked her about her 3-year relationship that ended with Jason Derulo, and asked about Jason's claims on Ryan Seacrest's radio show that he ended things because she was pressuring him to put a ring on it. And what did she say? That's what you got to hear.
Did you hear his interview on Ryan Seacrest where he's saying he might be forced to be married? You know, he felt like marriage or cheating?
I really don't have a comment on anything that's been said because everything is just that. It's just words.
I hear you.
Yeah.
What is the best post-breakup meal? The food. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything you crave?
You know what? My dad brought me Cubbies from Hackensack. You should go. If you've not been,
It's good
go.
stuff?
It's delicious.
I hear you.
Yeah. Ribs and amazingness.
Well, there you go. So she's okay. Her breakup meal is ribs and amazingness. Her dad sent her something, so that's cool. That'll work. Did you hear about, speaking of food, did you hear about this Chinese restaurant owner has been arrested because he laced the noodles with opium to hook customers into coming back? He admits to buying like 4.5 pounds of poppy buds, which have opium poppy seeds, from which opium is made. He crushed the buds into powder and then mixed them into menu items. One of his customers apparently tested positive for drugs on a routine traffic stop, and she swore up and down, I don't do drugs. Where you been? And she told him, and wow. so your noodles ain't that, they're mediocre at best, so to get people hooked on it, you throw opium in the mix. That's crazy, but you know, here in St. Louis, I had heard that a certain restaurant actually was throwing like crack into their food to try to get people hooked. And I heard that from a pretty reliable source. So I don't know, had you heard the same? Those folks in St. Louis listening, have you heard that before? I'm not gonna say the restaurant involved or anything because that would just be wrong on all kind of levels. But I had heard that happening before. That's crazy. That makes no sense at all. But what also doesn't make sense is Greg Rodriguez in New York. He's charged with 4th-degree grand larceny. Police were called to like a grocery store because he worked there, and apparently he had stolen like $1,200 worth of meat that he had hidden in his pants. Dude, you couldn't take it out a couple $100s at a time. You had to go for the $1,200, man. You went for the porterhouse. Is that what you did? You can't. I mean, come on, man. Dude. You know, and if you're the grocery store, do you want the meat back? You don't want that meat back, do you? Even if it was frozen and there was no chance of contamination or anything like that. I don't, you know, no. You can't want that meat back, man. You just can't. You cannot want that meat back. And shame on you, man. You don't go doing stuff like that. What's the problem? What's your deal, man? What's up? That makes no sense at all. But you know what? It is what it is. And you know what it is? Did you hear about these 2 English teachers, females, who apparently were arrested because they had a threesome with it was 16 at the time it started. He's a junior now in high school. And they would take him back to one of their apartments and they would go all night. They would go all night with this teenager, a threesome. And then they videotaped some of it. So, I want to say, oh man, they're in trouble. But I really don't know because, female teachers tend to get away with that. They get like probation and stuff. Men teachers do something like that. You never even hear from them again. They just seem to disappear off the face of the earth, which is wrong on all kind of levels. But, it is what it is. You just can't do something like that. And here's another ew. Somebody went to like a chicken farm in California with a golf club and massacred almost 1,000 chickens. Who does that? Who goes to a chicken farm with a golf club and then runs roughshod over 1,000 chickens? 1,000 chickens. You hear me? 1,000 chickens were slaughtered with a golf club. What is that? We've lost our mind as a society, huh? We really have lost our mind as a society. That makes no sense at all to do something like that. What does make sense, though, and I got this up on Talking 3, all these stories are on Talking 360. This is under the What the What tab, but this woman had told her daughter, you cut class, I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to embarrass you. And the daughter didn't believe it, and she cut class, and her daughter and mom got a video camera and followed her. I guess she got permission from the school because I can't imagine just anybody can do this. You must make your case, and the school says, this is a great lesson. Okay. And she followed her daughter around the school and embarrassed her daughter. She's like, we're going to class together. I'm walking you to class. And she was videotaping it and everything. And then she put the tape on Facebook, And I think the girl finally got the message because towards the end of the interview, they talked to her and her mom. And the girl says that a friend of hers, her friend Ruby, says, I wish my mom would have done this for me. So I guess mission accomplished, right? A lot of times, and it may even be you don't even want to admit it, but we all know some parents who want to be friends with their children rather than parents. And I told my daughter a long time, I want to be your friend. You got friends. I want to be your dad. So I'll be your dad. You get your own friends, Good for you, Mom. What a great job. Great job. Fantastic job, Mom. Very proud of you. All right, we'll leave it right there for today. I appreciate everything you do to support this show. Is wonderful, and it doesn't even cost anything. Just to listen means the world to me. I need your support for this. It's very important. Also, you help me grow the channel when you give it a thumbs up and you repost it or share it on Facebook or Twitter. If you subscribe to the channel, that takes me leaps and bounds in the right direction. If I can get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, then doors will start to open that will help me grow even faster. But they have this $10,000 subscriber threshold that I have to get to so they know that you're serious about it. And I am serious about it, but I need your help getting there. So if you can subscribe and ask friends to subscribe, things like that, it means a lot. That means a whole lot. I don't ask for much. I just want you to subscribe and share and watch and listen to my videos. This is audio only, but you know what I'm saying, right? It means the world. And I cannot thank you enough. If you are a small business and you want to advertise, I can get you, for a really good price, I can get you a spot on this podcast. I can get you on our Men on Scandal show, our Men on Everything show. I can put you in the newsletter and put an ad on the website, talking360.com, for an incredible price. So if you're interested, advertise at TonyScottShow.com. and I'll hit you back with details. So if you're a small business and you're looking to reach people, I think I can do something for you. And in fact, I know I can do something for you. So hit me again, advertise at TonyScottShow.com. Have a great weekend, all right? And Monday morning, I'm back again with another Tony Scott Internet Show. Appreciate it. Be peaceful. Stay blessed.